All right. I think I'm on. Hi, welcome. This is the Composite, and I am Deanne Battle. Yes, I'm sure of that. Yes, so the Composite, this is episode number 7. And for those who are unfamiliar, which would be a majority of the world at this point, the Composite is just kind of a late night roundup of things that I've been thinking about, slash current events. Thank you for joining me, or if you're watching the playback, thank you for watching it. Apologies for looking like a drowned rat here. I did wash my hair a bit earlier. I am in that awkward phase of locking, and so as you see, there is a myriad of things happening on top of this head, but trying to tame the cowlick. Okay. Production value. All right. So that's as good as it's going to get. Yes, but the Composite episode number 7, thank you for joining me. So what are we going to get into today? The first thing would be, as I'd mentioned, I think last episode, if you hear heavy breathing in the background, it is, come on, Zena. It is this little miss right here, and her name is Zena, and she gets active when I'm doing this show. And so now it's time for hugs and belly rubs, when in actuality, she already received hugs and belly rubs. It's time for the show, but we can't tell this one that. All right, so Zena, that's her name. And I did not name her. That was her name when she came from the shelter, and I let her keep it. So there is a longer story around that, if I haven't told it already. So there's that. Yeah, we're going to get into some Trump-related content. Not too much, but a little bit. And other things. I think that's it for right now. For previous episodes, I've done outlines and schematics and stuff like that. And I should do more of that. But, right now, I'm just glad that, I'm on live right now on a Tuesday as opposed to a Friday. So working on consistency, getting closer to that. Organization will be next. Okay. So that is what's in store. I also have a question too. So when I'm thinking about ways to work with this situation, to make it, again, more viewable, make it more appealing, but then also just investing in lighting, sound, background stuff, right? The ancillaries that make it look more professional. I would love some suggestions because, you can go on Amazon and really just get lost, right? And all of the options that they have. I mean, I know there are ring lights and, stands for the phone, or stands for maybe I should get a camera, there are tons of options of things that I could do, right, with this platform of one right now. But there are a lot of things that I could do. And so anyone that is a little more experienced at this, if you have any suggestions, again, in terms of lighting, setup, cameras, things of that nature, I'd love to get some feedback on that. I think I could do a lot of different things with the content, or have more flexible content, so to speak, if I had the production and, the foundation of it a little stronger, other than me just coming on my phone and flapping my gums. So if you have any suggestions, again, lighting, background, setup, sound, I would love to hear any of that. So that was one thing that I was thinking about separately, outside of topics for this evening. So yes, Trump related content. Other things. Yeah, maybe some dating relationship stuff. I don't have anything going on, but just certain things that I've been wondering about. A lot of the times when I'm thinking about that topic of, dating, gender relations, when I'm particularly thinking about like heterosexual men, women, men, wars that seem to be happening on social media. It just seems like the dating pool is filled with pee. So it's like, is there any point into venturing out, or where do people meet each other? Something that I have mentioned previously is that this post-COVID society, it's not doing what people think it's doing. It's not doing much of anything for me, at least. And so that'll be something I can chat about. All right. So Trump related content. So many crimes. So many crimes, allegedly, right? I'm just wondering, does that mean that that's all we're going to be talking about this summer, is like indictments and trials and crimes, allegedly? I really hope not, because that's not going to be a great summer. But I think it would serve its purpose, right? I think as we go into the fall, we'll see more unpleasant economic news. I was reading an article. It said that prices were going up again in terms of groceries, thinking about inflation and stuff like that. So in the bread and circuses of it all, I think Donald Trump serves as a distraction, as, grist for the mill, so to speak. Nevertheless, I just don't think I can hear about that like all summer on the radio, on the news. And frankly, I think that people that are getting happy because they think that we're getting closer to justice being served, allegedly. I'm not that hopeful. I mean, this guy he's a slippery character. I wouldn't be shocked if he dodged all of this stuff as well. I mean, although these are, I'm not going to lie, it's a hell of a lot of cases to catch, like back to back. But I mean, we'll see. I just don't really, hold out a lot of hope that our current iteration of a kind of justice system, a lot of caveats there, our current iteration of a kind of justice system, I just don't really hold out a lot of hope for it doing much of anything around these issues. Although I have to say, like, so if you have classified documents or top secret documents and you have them literally in the bathroom, National Archives, do they really want those back? I mean, I'm being rhetorical, right? Because yes, they do want them back, but what is on these documents now? You know what I mean? Like, because it's like, if people are not closing the lid when they flush, I don't know. I would just be like, okay, let's get the information from it, maybe scan it, and then use hand sanitizer or Lysol on the scanner itself, and then just incinerate that shit, because it's been sitting in the bathroom. Like, in the bathroom. You know, for me, it's just, like I said, I don't really hold out a lot of hope that if crimes were committed, that they will actually be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. You know, you've got these different judges, some of them that have been appointed by the former president, involved. The legal team, his legal team keeps switching in and out. There are the optics of doing all of this close to another election season. And so there are a lot of reasons why this might just be theater and why it might go away. But the stuff that boggles my mind is just like, in the ballroom, in the bathroom, like that's where these documents live. Homeboy couldn't come up with like some legitimate storage options, like a warehouse or, I don't know, a cellar or something. I mean, dang. The U.S., our national security secrets, are they that cheap that they just get thrown in the shower or next to the toilet bowl or behind the stage in the ballroom? It's just, I wish, frankly, we had better sense as a nation to be embarrassed. Irrespective of, you know, the outcome of whatever trials go forward, I wish we had the better sense as a nation to be embarrassed. This shit is fucking embarrassing. Like, wow. And people that know me very well know that I talk a hell of a lot. There's very little that just stumps me to the point of speechlessness. And I think that this situation is quickly approaching that category, because it's like, well, what else do you say, right? It's like, I mean, well, first of all, anything that you say, bad faith actors are going to be like, oh, Hillary Clinton had emails, and Joe Biden, he had documents in his garage. The garage is better than the shitter. The garage is a much better place to put documents. I would rather have motor oil particles on the classified documents versus fecal particles on the classified documents. Oh, hi there. You've got somebody in the room here. So that's one of the reasons why it doesn't really pay to talk about this topic, because it's like any point that you bring up the whataboutisms, like, well, but what about Hunter Biden? What about Joe Biden? What about Hillary Clinton? What about Mike Pence? Yeah, what about Mike Pence? Y'all were going to kill Mike Pence. Let's not talk about Mike Pence, right? So it's just, there are bad faith actors who, as like, again, I'm just somebody who's like examining the situation, thinking through the logistics, being like, the documents are in the bathroom. What the hell? So, you know, with all of that, it doesn't really pay to talk about it. But I just wanted to use this space to just really, you know, I remember when I was a kid watching late night, right? Arsenio Hall used to have this section of his show, things that make you go, right? This is definitely a thing that makes you go, Because, and I said this to a friend of mine, I said, okay, he took boxes and boxes of documents from the White House and moved them to Mar-a-Lago, right? And then the National Archives over the course of 18 months, about 2 years, kept being like, hey, can we get these documents back? Sending him letters, contacting him, contacting his lawyers. And so just thinking through the logistics of it, the way it feels to me is that whoever he's in bed with, whoever he's doing business with, vis-a-vis these documents, he is scared of those people. It's bad when it's like, okay, all I have to do is give these documents back to the US government. And he's like, you know what? No, I'm going to go with the alternative. I'm not going to give them back these documents. I'm going to hide these documents. So maybe I'm giving him too much credit. But in my mind, what that's saying is whoever has paid for access to those documents, or whoever he's like trying to finagle a deal with, he is more afraid of those people than he is of the US government. Who are these people that he's given these documents to, that he's made copies of the documents for? Who are these people, right? We really need to know that, because, whatever secrets are involved, sorry, it has a little number in the corner here. And, okay. So, whoever is involved in that or whatever, I'm not even really articulate about this. I'm just fascinated that, again, you would rather tangle with the US government than just give them back the documents. To me, that says you're in deep with something that you cannot control. And I just have a really bad feeling that the rest of the country is going to pay for it, right? In a big way. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's that. Now, dating. So that was the other issue that I was going to talk about, dating and the internet, so on and so forth. I guess what I'll frame this as the remnants of the manosphere post Kevin Samuels. I actually had somebody that I was talking to online, and I don't know why guys do this. They're like, oh, you seem amazing. Why are you single? I'm single for the same reason that you're single, sir. Although in some instances, no, because a Google search will help you find domestic violence charges. Okay, that's a separate story. But why is anyone single, right? Because, you either were focused on other things, you are not connecting with people. In my instance, you tell people you're a writer and they tell you they don't like to read. Yeah, that makes it difficult and challenging to connect with people. But I was talking to this guy online and he just kept being like, oh, why are you single, whatever. And I said, well, listen, dating pool wasn't so great. Pandemic happened. And now it's even less great. And, so we were talking and I just made a joke. I was just like, oh, he was talking about like women being reasonable. And so I was like, yeah, I said, I don't have any expectations until I like actually get to know you as a human being. And then I said something to the effect, I said, as long as you're not quoting Kevin Samuels, we'll be good. And that was the wrong shit to say, because he was like, oh, why are you so triggered by Kevin Samuels? oh, you're probably glad he's dead. And he went on this whole diatribe. And I was just looking at my phone like, oh no, this is not it. So I just told him, I said, well, doesn't sound like this is going to be a connection. Peace. And he was like, oh, I was just kidding. I said, no, the fuck you weren't. No, you were not kidding. Block party. But yeah, like it just, people really gravitate to these online personalities. And no, just for the record, no, I am not glad that Kevin Samuels is dead. That's terrible. Okay. But I really think, the manosphere, I'm going to focus on that a little bit. I mean, I'm not attracted to women, so I don't know what the female equivalent is saying online. Like, I just don't. So I don't have it as a reference point. I'm sure there are people out here that exist. I know I've heard of Cynthia G. I don't watch her videos though, but I do know what she looks like. I know that she has a channel. But the manosphere, it really has picked up on this tactic of negging, right? Or that's what it used to be called, where it's like, as a man, you approach a woman in an antagonistic way, but it's a method of flirting. So it's like, oh, if I throw her off balance, she'll want to argue with me, and then that equals engagement, and then I can use that as an opening, right? So that was a tactic that people were doing when people actually used to go outside. But now it's moved online, and now the online version of it is you tell a woman, especially women of color, that they're disturbed, that they have mental health issues, and that's supposed to get you in engagement. I don't understand why this shit is so dysfunctional. I'm just kind of like, you don't know these people, you have not met them, but that's what you do on social media now. It's either A, you tell the person, specifically a woman, that she is disturbed, has mental health issues, right? The second thing is to tell somebody that they can't read. Other things. And then the third thing is just, oh, everything you're saying is projection, right? So what does it mean if you're trying to have a civilized conversation online? I know that's an oxymoron. What does that mean if you're trying to have a civilized conversation online about courting, dating, companionship, male-female relationships? Again, I'm just speaking from my perspective. I'm not trying to omit anybody in any different communities. And happy Pride Month, by the way, because I'll get into that later. What is going on with people in this hyper targeting of LGBTQIA folks? I know it's always been there, but it just seems like, ta-da, like it just popped up, and everybody's so antagonistic to that community, or those various communities. So leave that to the side. But I feel like I do that a lot. That's another thing I need to work on, my non sequiturs. But when you're thinking about male-female relationships, right? So if your approach is, okay, to get engagement from women, I'm going to tell them they're crazy, tell them that they can't read, and then tell them the third thing, that everything that they're doing is projection. That doesn't work in the club, and it doesn't work online, right? It just makes you sound like an incel. It just does. I mean, I don't do, like when I'm talking to someone, if we disagree, I just go through the logic of their argument. I go, you said A, and now you're saying B. B contradicts A. What's good, right? Like, I'm not going to go into a whole theoretical origin story for someone online when most of you people don't even, like, your little icon is not even your face or your likeness whatsoever, right? For all I know, it might be a bot, right? So why am I going to, keep going back and forth, especially about something that's such a sensitive topic as, dating, relationships, so on and so forth. And I'm just realizing there are not good spaces to have these conversations. And then on top of that, there are just not good spaces. Like, where are people even meeting anyone, right? It used to be at a certain point back in the old days, you'd be like, oh yeah, I have a friend, you have a friend, we could introduce them, or I know someone who knows someone or whatever. That doesn't happen anymore. I mean, I think that stopped happening like 15 years ago. But then it was, okay, well, everybody, you meet people online. Okay, set up a profile, meet them for coffee a couple of times. Okay, are they crazy? Are they who they say they are? And what I found was that a lot of times just people were just not who they said they were. People were lying about objectively, like, things that are just not true just by, like, seeing someone. All right. So, for example, I'm 5'9". I've had guys tell me, oh, I'm 6'1", 6'2", and then I show up and then I'm looking down. I'm like, sir, this is objectively, like, false. This is categorically false. Excuse me. You are not 6'2", but I'm looking down at you. That doesn't work. Or their age. I've had people lie about their age, and then you get there and they're literally like 20 years older than they said that they were. Again, something that you can look at someone, you're like, okay, it's categorically false. So if I was 34 at the time, you said that you were 34. No, that's categorically false. You are approaching 60, sir. And it's just like, there's nothing that I can do after that. Or, so yes, height, age, and relationship status. I most recently, this was about, recent for me. It's like 2 years ago. I went on 3 dates with somebody, and, it was kind of like, but he was a good conversationalist, right? So we were having good conversations, and, I paid for my own drinks, paid for my own food. So it was just kind of like, okay, we're just going to hang out. He tells me the third day, oh, I'm still married and the divorce is going through. And I'm like, really? So you weren't even trying to, like, make anything work here? Because it's like, I don't date married men. That's not my bag. And he was just very, like, nonchalant about it or whatever. And because we were just talking about, like, what does it mean if you're dating, if you still have feelings for someone? And so I was just kind of like, oh, well, there is somebody, like, that I'm kind of still thinking about, but he's just not, like, the best influence on my life. And he was like, oh, I'm glad that you said that. So now I don't feel bad about still being married. It's like, what? No, that's not the same fucking thing. I'm telling you about, like, somebody I'm distancing myself from. I was never married to that person. You are legally married, sir, with a whole wife. I really don't know who's out here in these streets, like, and that's probably one of the most recent stories that I have, because I just was like, a couple of years, like about a year and a half ago. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore, because it's just like the people that this is, again, speaking from the I perspective, the people that I've been exposed to just trying to date are harmful people. They're harmful to my self-esteem. They're harmful socially. I'm still alive, so I'm gonna assume that they're not serial killers. I can't confirm that. I cannot confirm that. I've definitely had dates where the guy's gotten up and he's gone to the bathroom, and I've really debated with myself on whether or not I should stay or if I should just run away. And that's who's online. And so how does this relate to, social media spaces where people are having conversations? I think everybody has horror stories, but there's just something about the online space. And let me be specific. I'm specifically talking about Twitter, which I probably should not be on anymore. Everything is oppositional. And so it's like, if you have a topic that is incendiary, and then everyone is going to approach it in a very oppositional way, you're not going to get anywhere in terms of having a helpful discussion. All I want to know is where they at, where are people meeting, and just how to meet like better humans. And again, this is, you could have whatever job that you have, live where you live, just as long as you are paying for yourself. I don't have to pay for you. You have hair and teeth. That's a good start. We can, kind of build on that, but you would think that is a low bar, but it's really not. It's really, really not. I've had men over the age of 50. Don't send me pictures with you doing the duck lip thing. You're a grown man. Let's not do that. I don't send you pictures doing the duck thing. I'm a grown woman. Move past that. Or I had one guy, he would only call me after 10:30 p.m. and he would be outside whispering. So I was like, well, is your bitch inside? Like, what is going on, sir? Like, why are you calling me from your car when you're outside? Something's off. And then he's like, I live with my parents. Okay. At 43, 44 years old. There might be reasons for that, but don't hide it, because now everything that you do, I'm going to look at you like, okay, he lied about where he lived. What else is he lying about? Or just, lying about employment status. I'm thinking, okay, you work full time or whatever, and you're talking, oh, I had a hard day at work or whatever. And then when you get down into the nitty gritty of it, I work 15 to 20 hours a week. So why is he always complaining about work? I work 3 times as long as this person, but he's always complaining about work. No, that doesn't work for me. Speaking of work, that doesn't work. So we all have our, trauma stories or whatever. Trauma's too harsh a word, but we all have our dating mishaps to bring to the table. But somehow it's always ends up or as a complete reflection on the entire gender. And I hope that I'm not phrasing things where people feel that that's what I'm saying as well. But it always ends up as a reflection on the entire gender. And then you get into gender wars as opposed to saying, this is an interesting trend. How can you excise that trend from your dating life. That's just what I'm interested in. I'm interested in solutions. I'm interested in, living solutions, work solutions, dating solutions. Enough with the complaining. So that's pretty much all I have to say for today. And thank you to the one person that joined us for a little bit. Yes, I will definitely be on again before the end of the week. I do have a bit of time this summer. Like I said, working on consistency, all that good stuff. Other things? No, I think I'll leave it at that. All right. This was The Composite. I am still Deanne Battle, and this was episode 7. So thank you so much for your time, for your consideration, and I'll see you at this water cooler before the end of the week. Bye. Oops.